All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius, and the overall energy for the reading today, Sagittarius, is the moon. Now, I'm seeing with the cards that have come out that many of you may have been struggling emotionally here, and the moon card particularly is about really deep-seated emotions or things that you may not show other people, feelings that reside pretty much in your subconscious or just in the sort of deeper recesses of your heart. And some of those feelings may have been dredged up recently or just maybe coming up to be explored and felt. And so many of you, especially with the recent new moon in Taurus, those moon energies are very sort of heightened. And many of you may have had something happen in your life recently that triggered some of these deeper emotions to come up, or there could just be something related to them that you're having to kind of work through at this time. Now, when I clarify the moon card, we get the Five of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Cups. Now, the Knight of Wands, when it's with the Five of Cups, can often represent being emotionally triggered, and there could be some type of pain here or wounding that is triggered from the past specifically that's really coming back up because it needs to be healed or it needs to be looked at on a deeper level. And for many of you, these may be emotions that not even that you're avoiding, but just that it's they're not emotions that you're regularly kind of approaching in your day-to-day life because they are so deep-seated. For some of you, this could have to do with a pretty intense letdown or disappointment, and this feeling of disappointment may come up or be triggered or activated in your life um, when you feel like something else isn't going to work out, or when you get disappointed by something else. There may be a feeling of, being alone in this pathway in some way, or like having to deal with these feelings kind of all by yourself. And I do see this being connected to the issue of your heart or to love. And when you are feeling love or wanting love or experiencing your heart space, it's almost like it comes along with this really deep seated level of pain. Now, when I clarified that King of Cups, it looks like there may have been someone in your past who you felt very emotionally, and I'm hearing spiritually connected to, very deeply connected to in terms of matters of the heart. But the way that they showed up with the King of Wands was not really able to reciprocate the level of like love or heart space energy that you were kind of seeing them with, or that like maybe you needed from them. Maybe you were bringing some love to them and it wasn't really being reciprocated in the same way. It looks like when it came to actually working with you and showing up in a meaningful way, they really weren't able to do that in a consistent way. This could have been someone who was a little bit flighty, someone who couldn't really follow through, and again, just reciprocate from their heart. And that could have felt like a huge betrayal to you with the Ten of Swords. It could have been something that really exhausted you, really drained you. The oracle cards that I have for the reading today are the Lovers, the Thunderbolt, and Exhaustion. So you may have felt very connected to this person at one time. You may have felt very seen and appreciated by them to some extent, but then it's like, something changed or something happened here with the Thunderbolt and it just exhausted you and it felt like, I can't continue in this connection. It looks extremely, extremely exhausting. And this could be something that the healing of it really requires you to almost like build from the ground up again and kind of restore your energy. So a lot of you, this may have required you to take on a deeper level of rest than what you could be used to, or you could be feeling really burnt out after this experience, not just in love, but in your life overall. Many of you may not feel like yourself. You may feel kind of disconnected from yourself at times. And it almost comes through as like, how do I even sort of begin to heal this wound because it's so deep and it affected you on such a core level? When lightning strikes, it really strikes and gets to the heart of the matter, to the root of the, whatever it's striking. And I see that you really felt the impact of this thunderbolt on your heart, and it really kind of knocked you out in a certain sense. Um, and I see you trying to kind of like get back on your feet here with the Magician in the recent past, but with the Ace of Wands and the Five of Wands, it's almost like you get swept away by these feelings, or like, you know, when they come up, it's only ever a struggle or only ever kind of creates a struggle in your life. Let's take a look at the Magician in the recent past. We have Nine of Cups and Justice, and then the Queen of Swords. So when it comes to really manifesting balance for yourself and getting more into that balanced place, feeling emotionally secure especially, it's like that's something that you want to do or that you try to do repeatedly, but it's almost like with the Queen of Swords that you're cut off from your heart space or you're cut off from your feelings, and it is very difficult actually to like move forward in a real way from this because it affected you so deeply. And so then you end up just kind of feeling a lot of conflict within you. You may feel really fragmented. You may feel a lot of sort of opposing feelings, like one second you miss this person, the next second you hate this person, one second you want to be in contact with them, the next second you're like, I'll never speak to them again. And that could be really draining you as well, where it's like not only were you drained from this experience, but every time these feelings come up for you, it could be extremely exhausting. And it's something that it comes through on the energetic level as like a feeling, like not a thought or you know, a message, but really like something that comes up and moves through your body and your energetic field. Let's take a look at the Ace of Wands. Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups, and Judgment. It could feel like you have no idea like how to actually approach this pain because it's so deep, and it's almost like you know that you want to, but it feels like the pain can be overwhelming at times, or like there's no way for you to move through this. It could feel like it kind of takes over and you can't really see things clearly. And all you have is like this feeling inside you of pain, of rage, of sadness, of whatever it is. With the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck, I think your higher self is trying to show you something, Spirit's trying to show you something, but it's very hard for you to see this situation clearly. Let's take a look at the Five of Wands for the recent past. Four of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, the Moon. Emotionally, you still hold on to this situation, or you could still be clinging to some type of possibility in this situation. It could feel like because you're unable to move on from it fully, you end up kind of returning to the idea of this over and over again, because you're trying to get to the root of it or figure it out, or you're like, if I can't move forward from it, maybe I should return to like the thought of it, and it kind of comes through as this cycle that is very hard for you to release yourself from. With the Fool at the bottom of the deck, it's like you almost know that you don't want to hold on to this pain at this point, but it's very hard for you to fully release. Now, before we look at the current energy, Sagittarius, if this reading is resonating for you, please take a moment to like and subscribe. When you lend your energy to the channel, it really helps me get in touch with your energy and manifest messages that resonate more deeply with you, because as someone who's engaging with my readings, you are co-creating these messages with me. So please like and subscribe if the reading's resonating for you. But let's look at the current energy right now with the Knight of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords, the Six of Cups, the King of Swords. The past kind of comes at you fast, doesn't it? You know, like your heart may still feel connected to this person. You could feel like you have a soul connection with them with that Six of Cups. And it kind of feels like at times the past comes and like hits you over the head in a way. And you really get thinking about whatever this was. Let's take a look at the Six of Cups. Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, the Queen of Wands. You may find yourself wondering, like, is this going to come back around And would that make me feel better with the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck? There's this feeling of maybe this isn't over, or maybe I should go towards this, or is this going to come towards me? And it could make you feel kind of anxious here with the King of Swords, or sorry, the Knight of Swords, but it could also make you feel like it's coming towards you in some way. I don't know. Let's take a look at the Knight of Swords. The Tower, the Four of Swords, the Page of Swords. I see you actually being kind of anxious because you want to let this go, and you're like, how can I just deal with this? How can I make a change in this pattern that I go through of being hurt and upset over this, and interrupt that pattern and really allow myself to rest? But then even as you know that you want to do that, you continue to kind of think about this connection in a way, or it's like even as you know that you need to kind of leave this behind, it's like you can't stop thinking about it in a way. Interesting. Let's take a look at the King of Swords in the current energy. Wheel of Fortune, Four of Wands, the High Priestess. I see that when you do kind of center your energy or get clear on this, it's like you return to stability. Like you go from being very anxious and upset about this at times to kind of reevaluating from a more realistic place, understanding or asking at least, how can I try to heal from this? And then even just by asking yourself, how can I heal from this, or how can I move forward, it's like that automatically places your energy back into a more stable place, a more grounded place. Many of you may meditate, or you may access your spirit guides in some way with the High Priestess, and it's like once you kind of ground yourself in your energy and what you know, you end up feeling better about the situation in some way. But I'm seeing that it may not like last very long. Like it's a very sort of precarious energy of going back and forth between, struggling, cutting your heart off because you need to kind of balance, or it may feel impossible to balance. And so then you kind of ask, like, okay, like what can I do to stabilize? Because that, you're kind of unstable. And then as soon as you start considering, like, how can I stabilize? Then you kind of take a second, you ground yourself, and you kind of return to that kind of stable energy. What else about the King of Swords before we move forward? Nine of Swords, the Chariot, the Two of Pentacles. The thing that you really stress about, though, is like, where is this going? Like, is this going to come back around? Like, how can I really move forward? And you're able to ground yourself maybe in the present moment here. But then in terms of like a longer term solution, it could feel pretty hard for you to quiet those thoughts and like understand that you're going to be okay. There could be something about this that really destabilized like not only your sense of self, but your sense of like, am I on the right path, or something like that. But I see as soon as you kind of take a moment to yourself to really ground and get kind of into your spiritual practices, or maybe, get still and quiet in your mind, it's like then you kind of return to your equilibrium in a way. Let's take a look at the Nine of Swords in the near future. King of Wands, Judgment, the Hanged Man. There also could be a preoccupation with this other person of like, what are they doing, or why aren't they contacting me, or kind of what's going on with them. And Spirit's kind of saying that the fastest way for you to feel better, I guess, is to just stop focusing on what this other person is doing. Like if you're really looking for a concrete way to stabilize yourself, the first step is to stop focusing so much on them and try to direct your energy as much as possible to yourself. Now, I know that's a lot easier said than done, but if you're kind of like feeling like you've lost your footing with when you're spiraling and you're thinking, what am I supposed to do in this moment? If you find yourself, excuse me, asking about them or looking at their social media or thinking back to them or how they're doing or any of that stuff, um, the fastest way for you to kind of ground yourself is to remind yourself to focus on yourself and to center yourself. And so if you're thinking about who are they hanging out with, maybe think about who you want to hang out with in your life and reach out to those people. Or if you're thinking about, what are they doing for work these days? Maybe get back to your work, like things like that, where it can be really important for you to step away from that thought loop of what's going on with that person. Let's take a look at death. Nine of Cups, Page of Swords, death. Yeah, as soon as you kind of stop asking what they're up to, I see you kind of feeling better, but it does mark a pretty big shift in how you go about feeling, because it seems like you kind of associate your feelings with this other person, or that's how you connect to your heart, is by connecting to them. And Spirit's kind of saying that it's time for you to stop asking about them in order to connect to your feelings and create connections to your own feelings in your own heart that are yours alone. And then the more that you do that, the more I see you kind of stepping back into your own energy here with the Queen of Wands. Let's take a look at the Queen of Wands. Five of Wands, the High Priestess, the Three of Swords. Again, you kind of go back to this feeling of being disconnected from your intuition again, because you're disconnected from your heart. And when you're disconnected from your heart, you're not able to feel into your intuition as much. It may feel like you're kind of far away from yourself, you're kind of distanced from yourself. And so it's kind of this process that's not linear, where you disconnect from your intuition and you disconnect from your heart, and then you reconnect, and then you disconnect and you reconnect. And it may feel like, if I'm not connecting to this person, how can I connect to my heart? Because maybe that's the way that you've known how to feel your feelings, is through your connection to this other person. And it's almost like you have to rebuild this sense of what it means to not just center yourself, but to feel your own energy and to get connected back to your heart space. And you show me over and over again that you're very aware that you're disconnected from your heart space, and that it's a challenge for you. But there's also this feeling that, you can't rush this process. You can't be hard on yourself about being disconnected from your heart, about healing. Like, that's going to take the time that it's going to take. And I know that sometimes, Sagittarius, we can be kind of impatient, we can kind of be like, when am I need to feel better. When am I going to feel better? I need to accomplish this. When am I going to accomplish it? And Spirit's kind of saying that, looking for an end, happiness as an end goal isn't really going to serve you, because happiness comes and goes, and it's not something that one day is just going to appear. It's sort of a feeling that you're going to cultivate over time, and sometimes you're going to feel that happiness, and sometimes you're not going to feel it so much. And so there's also a message in this about being gentle with yourself. I see you maybe being a little bit harsh with yourself with the Queen of Swords and the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck, or telling yourself that you need to get through this and, maybe man up, or, whatever. Even if you're not a man, maybe you're just having that level of like strictness with yourself of, pull it together. And that's not really going to help you either. What else can you show me for the Queen of Wands? Five of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. You may think that you have healed because you have you know, reestablished your life, or maybe you moved somewhere else, or you got a new job, or you made new friendships. Like things in your material world could be going pretty well, and so you're like, yeah, I'm doing fine, but there's more within your heart space and within your feelings that need to be investigated. And with this Seven of Cups card, it's like you need to kind of open the doors of your heart and go through every drawer, and really look through like how you feel about everything, and just feel your feelings. Like, feel sad. Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel happy. Allow yourself to feel angry. Because the first step to moving through your feelings is actually starting to feel them and kind of feeling them without judgment, without, being hard on yourself for having a certain feeling or being mad at yourself, and just kind of letting yourself experience those feelings as they come. And I'm seeing that there could be a certain level of coldness to you. You could be feeling not just detached from yourself, but detached from the world and from other, experiences. And there's a need to almost like soften up and get back in touch with your heart. Four of Swords, Knight of Swords, the World. Yeah, part of that's going to come from slowing down your mind and releasing yourself from the sort of barrage of thoughts that come to you over and over again, like the spiraling, the mental loops, the constant anxiety. It's just, and for many of you, that's going to have to do with meditating. And so if you can look up a breathing meditation, a body scan meditation, a light meditation, any kind of meditation, even on Netflix, I think there's like a Headspace program where they guide you through pretty basic meditations. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just take a moment to allow yourself to release some of those thoughts that begin swirling around your mind, and just see what that kind of opens up for your energy, because I'm feeling that this is exhausting a lot of you. Like, this is really taxing to you, and part of resting is going to be about resting your mind and resting those anxieties and just kind of being more in the present moment. Now, before we close out the reading, Sagittarius, I'm just going to get 3 cards from Spirit for you today. 3 cards of advice from the universe. The advice from the universe with the Ace of Swords, the Hermit, and the Queen of Swords is to try to open up to seeing things in a new way, because the way that you could be seeing things could actually be kind of overly practical or logical and disconnected from that heart space, not very gentle. And Spirit kind of wants you to open your mind to seeing things in a way that is a bit softer, that's a bit more open-minded, that isn't as harsh on yourself. Show me the Ace of Swords here. Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Page of Swords. Yeah, Spirit really wants you to think about ways that you can empower yourself and that you can love yourself in like a material way. Many of you may be slacking on doing kind of like the basic things around your house, like doing your laundry or doing your dishes, or showering, or and then there's the more kind of concrete self-love things, like going to get a massage, or taking yourself out to eat, or spending time with friends, or spending time in the sunshine and things like that. And the Spirit wants you to get really curious about what it would look like for you to find new ways to take care of yourself. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope it resonated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.